Hi there. Welcome back to Funny Papers. This is your old buddy Dustin, and I'm joined with two good friends that we've heard from before, John and Miki. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm also doing well and prospering.
Prospering. What does that mean exactly?
Well, I'm unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
But I recently got a job. So I feel good about that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you about that, about your job the last 2 days. It's kind of the first work that you've had since
March.
Since things kind of went crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't.
Can't talk about it. That's okay.
NDA. Sorry.
Oh, you signed an NDA?
I didn't really. But I can't talk. Well, okay, I can talk the basics. So basically, we were shooting some kind of holographic VR image, or it was shooting people, like a guy on a skateboard and people dancing and stuff in front of.
There were skateboarders?
There was one skateboard, yeah, in Palos Verdes. Beautiful.
Where's Palos Verdes for people that don't know exactly?
It's in Los Angeles County. It's in San Pedro. The city of San Pedro, which is, or maybe that's part of Los Angeles City, I'm not actually sure, but that's down near Long Beach. It's the port of Los Angeles, which is, I think, one of the biggest ports on the West Coast for sure. It's a massive port. It's really cool. I actually it was 2 days of work and I got to drive past it each day. And
it's really hard for anyone that hasn't been to Los Angeles to really grasp the size of Los Angeles, because it's massive.
It's bigger than I thought.
Yeah, I live in the middle. I live in Koreatown, which is pretty close to downtown. So that's like, pretty classic middle of Los Angeles. And it took me about an hour to get to this place in Palos Verdes. And a lot of that was driving along the cliffs next to the ocean, which you have to drive slower, and it was kind of a winding way.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a really nice drive to work and drive back.
Well, it's good to hear that work's starting to kind of ramp itself back up, because I'm also starting to ramp up my photo work next week. So that's a good thing.
Ooh, what are you doing? What's your first project?
The first project's like it's a product shoot. We're shooting product in studio.
Oh.
So it'll be kind of mindless, but at least it's work. Something.
Can you help give me advice on product shoots? Because I'm working on a product.
Are you?
Yes.
Tell them.
Yeah. What is? Yeah.
Tell the world.
Okay. I like to make folding hand fans, like just really, really pretty, girly fans.
Like
the Chinese fans, like
okay.
Like those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make them like.
A lot of cultures have the fans.
That's true. A lot of cultures. Yeah, Spaniards, Japanese,
Latin
America. Yeah.
Well, I would love to help you with that, but
Thank you.
But the other question I have, I don't know. There's not many people that listen, but I think it's time for you to give a little plug. You recently helped me out with my dating profile. I'll just throw that. I'll air that out there. But I really do appreciate you doing that. But I want you to. Well, are you planning on making that kind of a business, or something that you do on the side or something like that?
It is something that I have done for male friends in the past, as for fun, but I have applied for matchmaking positions in the past, so I do feel like I have a little mini talent in just like helping people make more connections romantically or for fun or whatever it is. I just like to bring people together.
Well, from what you sent me and what I saw, you did a really good job. It was one of those things where I was kind of fearful on the front end that I would feel kind of shot down, but not at all. I mean, the way that you did it made me just, I saw the faults in it, but it didn't make me feel small or anything, which is great. That's what you need. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's what I want. Like, I want people to enjoy the experience, because it shouldn't be some scary methodical thing. It should just you're meeting people, which is one of the funnest things ever.
And that's got to be you really have to go into it with that kind of attitude, not like putting in work, because I mean, speaking on a personal, just from personal experience, it's like, it's not going to work if you feel like if it's just you're trudging through it and just trying to get through it.
Yeah. It should be a very natural experience with that person or whoever.
Yeah. Do you have a name for it yet? Like the business or whatever?
I'm calling it Bo Meets Bay for now.
Okay. I like it. Yeah.
There are other companies too that we're working on. We're not sure if we want to disclose them yet. They're all patent pending, copyright reserve. And what we're hoping for is it's going to be a whole conglomerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I need to be a millionaire by the time I am 39.
That'd be nice.
39 millionaire. It's fine.
Well, if this podcast keeps going and it gains followership, then you always have an open mic here. So.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say we're all gonna be millionaires.
Oh, we will. We will.
That's if all goes well.
Yeah. First, we get the listeners. Then we get the sponsors. Then we get the yachts.
The bread or the cake.
The respect of our peers.
And De Niro.
Robert De Niro?
Possibly.
Nice.
Well, why don't we jump in, guys? What do you think? Let's jump into some funny papers.
Wait, were we going to do so? Oh, we were going to read a... Oh, yeah. Oh, that. Oh, yeah.
No, we can still... There's still more to talk about, I think.
Yes.
But
I think we should listen to... Or I love to hear some funny papers. I'm in the mood. How about you?
Yes, I'm ready to laugh.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start out with one that I think I've talked with you, John, at least before about... I know that we have Pearls Before Swine.
Oh, yeah.
The one that has kind of all the animals involved. But
Mickey, are you familiar with the lineup of Pearls Before Swine?
Yeah. I'm familiar with the name, yes, but I can't recall the illustration.
And I always forget to remind our listeners that John and Miki both, they don't see what I'm looking at right now. So
we see nothing.
Yeah, Pearls Before Swine is... And the reason I bring this up is because the illustrator, Steven, actually, you know what I just realized the other day? I was looking up Pearls Before Swine. I've been pronouncing his name wrong for months now.
That is
his name isn't
so
Steven.
Rude.
His name isn't Steven Pastis, it's Stefan Pastis. Stefan.
I wasn't expecting the first name wrong.
The first name is wrong. Stefan.
I don't know how to feel about. Is he from? Where's he from?
I don't know. I didn't go that deep. I got to that point and I was going, oh man, I have been pronouncing his name wrong constantly. And the reason I realized that is actually because of this particular comic strip. Because one of the characters, he writes himself into this comic strip. He gives him a nickname, or he abbreviates his name, and he calls him Steph. And when I first read it, I was going, what the hell? And then I realized his name isn't spelled Steven, it's spelled Stefan. I've just glossed over it all this time.
Oh.
But anyway, he often writes himself into his comic strips, which I think is cool. So let's start with Pearls Before Swine by Stefan Pastis. And we've got old Pig. Pig and Stefan are sitting out in a field, sitting on the ground, looking at each other. And they're both wearing face masks, by the way.
Why are they wearing face masks? I love that they're
I
wearing
do
face
too.
masks.
They're responsible.
I think it's a really, and more comic strips are starting to draw those into their content. I think it affirms, the responsible thing to do.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Exactly. Have you seen the people putting them on like statues and stuff? It's kind of same kind of vibe, right? I've seen that a couple times. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Pastis is from San Marino, California.
Okay. So he's right kind of in your neck of the woods, huh?
So,
He's close-ish.
do guys do face masks?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, are you talking about COVID, like N95 masks?
Yes, I thought that was the kind of mask we're talking about.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, I wear a mask
Wait,
every day.
no. I'm sorry. No, like the
Oh,
face
like
mask,
a peel, like a facial
Yeah.
peel.
Oh.
yeah, like cosmetically.
We're not talking about that though.
Oh.
Did forget anything I've commented so
Oh
far.
no! I love that.
You're in the right frame of mind though. You're like face mask. Yeah, I know it.
That's the first kind of face mask that comes to my mind.
It should be.
Yeah.
See, that's what I like. That's what I like.
Thanks.
You're a positive thinker.
That's why I was like, why does a pig need a face mask?
Well, that pig could probably use a face mask, but no. In this case, they're like surgical masks. They're like the what you see
That
everybody
changes
wearing.
everything. Okay.
So they're sitting on the ground in the field looking at each other. And it's really an nondescript field. It's just kind of rolling hills. It actually kind of looks like the Windows desktop background they're sitting at.
It's
I love
pleasant,
that
though.
Background.
It is pleasant.
It's so green.
Would you live
But-
there?
Yes.
Pig speaks up and he's kind of looking down at the ground. He says, "I'm so bored of this whole COVID thing, Steph." And Stefan, looking over at him, says, "Well, here's something fun, Pig. Your speech balloon is an actual balloon. Just grab the tail." And he's
Is
referring to,
it a curly Q tail?
No, he's referring to the speech bubble that's
Yeah.
above them.
Speech bubble doesn't have a tail.
Okay, guys, come on, follow me here.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling the pig to grab the balloon by the tail. The pig.
Which is usually like a triangle.
True.
Yeah.
The pig's tail is curly Q.
But we're talking
Classic
about
pig's
the,
tail.
the speech balloon, not the pig.
I was making a jump, a free association,
Pig.
and I was just asking a question about, because I don't know, we have to remind the audience, both Mickey and I cannot see the cartoon.
Right.
We
Well,
are your mouthpiece. We want to speak for the listener, and we want to make sure that you guys are cued into every detail.
Well, Pig's speech bubble's tail is not curly. It's the same
Well,
as.
I missed it on that one, guys. I whiffed it, and I feel bad. I feel like I
Whatever.
wasted my time and yours.
We already.
No worries.
But
I said something already.
what did you say?
It was a speech bubble.
Oh, no, I know about that. It's okay. The point is, we're back on track. All right.
That's okay. Well, so yeah, he tells Pig that he can just grab the balloon by its tail. So Pig he's grabbed his speech bubble by the tail, and now he's floating up into the sky, and Stefan's looking up at him as he's kind of floating away, and Pig
I get
looking
it.
down.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Pig looking
Wait,
down.
hold on. Let's break this
Sure.
down.
I love it already.
Wait, what do you get it? What are you understanding right now? I want to hear your thoughts.
I get the joke.
Okay.
Well, it keeps. Yeah,
I don't want to
okay.
give it away yet.
No, okay. Keep going.
So he's floating away and looking down at Stefan with a big grin on his face, and he says, "It is fun. I can see the whole comics page from here." And Stefan looking up says, "Yeah, just make sure you don't stop talking or you'll have no..." And he's cut short. The speech bubble has exited the frame of the comic strip. And now Pig's hanging out in space, up in the air, kind of like those old cartoons where, gravity is defied for a few seconds while they hang in air.
They're driving and running, and then they run off the edge of a cliff,
And they hang
and they
there
keep
for-
running, and they don't fall until they look down and realize that they're in midair.
Or in the case of Wile E. Coyote, he has enough time to hold up a sign that says like "Oops" or something like that,
Classic.
Anyway, so he's hanging up in air, and he goes falling down through between the two frames, the between the frame he's in now and the next one.
This is meta AF, dog.
I know. So he falls straight through the frames, completely out of the. If you were to look down on the comic strip page, he's just gone. The comic strip below him's Sherman's Lagoon, but he's not there. And,
Lagoon.
Oh, that's a deep comic.
Stefan is standing there looking down through the gaps in the comic strip squares, and he says balloon. I guess because that was his next line after he was warning Pig of what would happen.
Can you say the first two lines again? When they're talking about COVID or something?
Yeah, Pig at the beginning. Well, why don't I'll recap at the very end.
Okay.
And the very last frame shows Pig lying on the ground in a completely different comic. It's the comic Baby Blues, which is a completely different comic, like on a different page of the newspaper.
So, wow.
But he's laying there on the ground as the little kid, the main character of Baby Blues, goes running inside, and the caption at the bottom says, "Mommy, God dropped a pig on Dolly."
Whoa, that's weird.
Who's Dolly?
Whoa, God
Dolly's
dropped a pig on Dolly?
Dolly's a character in this other comic strip, which I actually...
It's not a toy, it's like an actual live character?
Well, I've never read from the comic strip that he fell into.
You should, because that's fascinating. This is my next question. Is Pig from Pearls Before Swine in the Baby Blues comic strip?
He fell... Oh, no, he never appears in their comic strip.
Okay, because that would be cool.
That would be weird, actually.
Wow.
If it appeared in the same issue.
I have a couple other questions about this. I, for one, really enjoyed this Pearls Before Swine. I liked how meta it was, self-reflexive.
What do you mean by meta?
Meta is like the idea of like being self-reflexive. It's like looking at itself. No, you can't look at it. Don't show it to us.
Well, I mean, just
readers. Dustin, our host, is trying to break the series.
I used to read this all the time.
Yeah. So for what you were saying earlier, Mickey, from the beginning, and I'll recap it quickly. They're sitting in a field, and Pig says to Stefan, "I'm so bored of this whole COVID thing, Steph." And Steph says, "Well, here's something fun, Pig. Your speech balloon is an actual balloon. Just grab the tail." And Pig does so. He grabs it by the tail, and it is fun. I can see the whole comics page from here. Stefan, "Yeah, just make sure you don't stop talking, or you'll have no..." And he loses the bubble, and then ends up falling out of the comic strip into another one.
The only problem, this is my job on the show, I guess. I find the problems. My only problem with this cartoon is if Pig was floating up in that direction from his cartoon, he wouldn't be able to see all the cartoons because he's in just 2 dimensions. He would be able to look down and see a line where he came from, or multiple lines from the other cartoons he's floating past. He'd have to float into a 3rd dimension to see the entire page as we are reading it. If he floats out of his world, I guess he could pass, because everything he's seeing is just a line. So if he's going upwards, maybe he's seen a bunch of lines looking down, and he's recognizing that as an entire comic strip. So that could be possible.
Because he would be looking down on he's a 2-dimensional character looking down at... I see what you're saying.
He's looking down at other line segments, but maybe he lives in a line segment world, so maybe that's he understands.
Well, I mean, going beyond that, I mean, just the what Pig would actually see. I mean, what I really appreciate is the fact that Stefan really breaks that. He breaks the 4th wall. Is there a 4th wall in comic strips? Maybe
There's
so.
a 3rd wall.
Yeah. A 3rd wall.
The 2nd wall. He broke the 2nd wall.
The 2nd wall.
No, we always see the 2nd wall. He broke the 3rd
I mean,
wall.
I guess if you're looking at it from a literal perspective, there is a 4th wall in this sense that each comic strip itself is 4 walls, and it's its own world. And to break the 3rd world is kind of to like connect whatever the illustration or the visual is in the story that's being told and connect it with the audience, us. And it's like, here he is taking himself out of that world that is breaking the 4th wall, like a reality show, and he's going into another world. Even if it's not his world, it's a world just like his, but he's like going back into his four walls.
Uh-huh.
Another dimension of
the
four walls.
The walls of the cartoon box.
Yes.
Comic box.
Yes.
Wow, that's blowing my mind. Except for the last one's a circle. Anyway, what I was going to say is meta or something being self-reflexive is the idea of it commenting on itself. The idea the cartoon understands that it's a cartoon. It has the person that's drawing the cartoon in the cartoon commenting on the creation of the cartoon as he's creating it. So it's like it is truly breaking the fourth wall. But
and he does that often, which I think is, I think it's, you can never predict what's going to happen in it.
Okay, so I just want to add some more. Sorry, I didn't like your explanation.
Wait, the 2D thing?
Yeah.
No, I was being a jerk. I was doing it on purpose. It was a bit. My idea was I was gonna make him a very technical jab at it. That was just no one would ever care about that.
Right.
Like the idea that he could see the whole comic strip as if we are looking at it. How dare he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Who is the pig supposed to represent exactly in society?
Well, I think we've talked about it before, and I don't think we ever really got down to it. But the pig actually represents.
Well, we talked about what pearls before swine, the saying, the phrase, means. I don't know. Maybe the definition.
Wow.
But Matt gave us a good one. Let me see if I can remember it. The idea was, if you show pearls to a swine, they won't understand the value of it. They'll just be like, "That's some rocks. I want to eat my sludge." And so, the idea is you are. It's like it's someone who can't recognize the value of something. I guess
It's something that's not appreciated. That if a pig came across, a bunch of pearls, the pig wouldn't care. The pig might even eat the pearls.
Yeah, or refuse. Yeah, just be like, I don't know, cast that aside or smash them or whatever.
It's not appreciated. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, let's move on to another one, because I'm sure we'll have another. I'm sure John will have more of a technical explanation.
I'll have a problem with it. That's for sure. How dare they?
All right. Well, if you had to guess what the next one would be, what do you think it would be?
Baby blues.
Oh. John got it right. John nailed it on the head.
Wait, really?
Yeah, pickles.
Oh, I said baby blues. I said it real fast.
I thought you said pickles.
Pickles. Is that with the blonde boy?
Is that boy?
Yeah, there is a blonde boy in it.
Why do you just know about the blonde boy?
If he has the big nose, right?
No,
the
main characters of it are two older people, an older couple, Earl and Opal. They're probably in their 70s. They're like I call them grandma and grandpa.
It's about two elderly people, and then their grandson is a little blonde boy.
Oh, I like those people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And here's the pickles, and it's by Brian Crane. And we see that Earl, the old man grandpa, as I call him, is sitting on the couch with the dog Roscoe sleeping on his lap. And they both seem to be kind of napping, and his grandkid Nelson is kind of leaning over the back of the couch, looking down at the two of them, kind of snoozing. And Nelson is that little blonde boy.
The little blonde boy.
I kind of remember this.
And he's speaking up now. He asks Grandpa, "Do you love dogs, Grandpa?" And now Roscoe the dog's, he's woke up and he's looking up and his tail is wagging.
He wants to know the answer to the question.
Fluttering back and forth, and Earl is kind of sat up a little more and he's looking down at Roscoe, who's looking up at Grandpa, and Grandpa says, "Yeah, I've always loved doggies. Dogs are very kind and compassionate. They're better people than most people." And now Grandpa is looking back up at Nelson. It looks like Roscoe's he's had his eyes closed, maybe trying to go back to sleep. And he looks up at Nelson, who's still looking down over the back of the couch, and he says, "They forgive everything and never hold a grudge." And now Opal's walked in, Grandma's walked into the room, and she's wearing her normal kind of polka dotted house dress with an apron.
Moo.
I don't know if it's a muumuu.
I hope not.
Wait, is there a waist?
No, no, it's all one piece, and it goes all the way to the floor. It looks like.
Is it boxy?
I don't think it's a muumuu. I think it's.
What's your definition?
I think it's a shift dress.
What would it be called?
A shift dress is like kind of a boxy shape, and it's slimmer than a muumuu.
That's shifty to me.
Yeah, I mean it's not a muumuu. So maybe it's
Why is such
dress.
a negative connotation to the moo? I wasn't being
It's
derogatory.
a very unattractive pice of cloth.
Yeah,
It's a comfortable piece of cloth.
I'm sure it is. I would wear a muumuu if I.
It's free flowing.
Well, Grandma in her shift dress has walked in, and the three of them, Roscoe, Grandpa, and Nelson, are looking over at her, and she doesn't say anything, but Grandpa then turns over to Nelson and says, well, wives are great too.
What the hell?
She came in with her hands on her hips. I should have said that. It looks like she's kind of going, I'm not appreciated. So Grandpa, he kind of, I guess he's just trying to dig himself out of a hole, and he tells Nelson, well, wives are great too.
So he's waxing poetic about the dog, and then she hears him, and she's like, he never says these kind words about me. And then she walks in the room, and it was like, I thought we were supposed to communicate more. And he looks over at her. This is all physical communication I'm talking about here.
Well, he's I think he's trying to make her feel good, but it's contradicting.
But why? Yeah, sorry.
What he said. I mean, or not contradicting. It's just it's kind of putting in contrast what he just said about dogs, where dogs forgive everything and never hold a grudge. But here comes his wife, and
the idea is, so you're saying he's talking about the dog. He's praising the dog because the dog specifically doesn't have the same attributes as his wife.
It's misogynistic.
Maybe.
Well,
it could be
personal. He's not saying all women.
No.
But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this joke is supposed to be like some type of reflection on what a certain percentage of men feel like in reality.
He knows that his wife is mad. His wife is mad. Oh, his wife is mad because she's not a dog. It's
just like an old. It's one of those, and perhaps those old jokes are a bit misogynistic, but it's kind of that old wife joke. I mean,
I get that, yeah.
No,
I don't
but
have a lead up to, like, I mean, I know that Rodney Dangerfield had a few of those one-liners where it's like he'll set it up, and he'll be like,
respect.
well, that's not what my wife says, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea that the dog has all these attributes, and he's praising the dog, and then the wife's angry because he's not praising her, or because those are specifically the opposite attributes that she has.
But see, she doesn't say anything. I don't know if she's actually angry at all.
Well,
she just walks in the room.
Come on, we can't see the comic. You got to tell us. Hands on the hip. She gets a reaction from her husband. She gets a reaction. She's making it. She sends some signals. What are those signals? Tell us. What
she really doesn't move. She comes into frame with her hands on her hips, and she doesn't move. That's all she does.
She's stoic.
I guess.
Yeah, she's stoic.
What do you think, Miki, as a woman? What are you reading out of her actions in this?
I don't even look at it from that perspective, but I mean, as a woman in like antiquated times, women, I mean, it was a joke for like a man and dog to be like the one and only pair that mattered.
Man's best friend.
Yes, exactly.
But
the wife is not the man's best friend.
But okay, so the idea is he's talking about how much of a best friend the dog is, and then she feels like she's being not the best friend because she's his life partner and has been for many years. They're old together.
But I think the other thing behind it is it's kind of an old person's joke.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I know that when I spend time with my grandparents, I mean, they've lived together so long and spent, you know, most of their lives together that it's not in any, you know, they'll put digs on each other, but you know, they'll kind of make fun of each other, but they don't mean it. It's just, it's older humor, I guess.
Well, what's about this is he's not making fun of her. He's not saying the dog is his best friend more than anyone else in the world. Mm-hmm. He's not saying, I wish everybody treated me like this dog.
I wish my wife was like the dog.
Exactly. He's not saying anything like that. So it's like a weird subtext I'm trying to read. The wife is, she feels like she's not, like perhaps the dog is getting more praise than she.
That's the point.
The praise.
Man's best friend.
So the idea is instead of the husband praising.
Should it be changed to person's best friend? I think so. Instead of saying man's best friend.
Well, it's difficult language.
But from the past, it would be.
Well, okay, what was it? I think it was either Oakland or San Francisco. They changed the name of the manhole covers to like.
Oh, really?
Something else, yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, you could name it. I mean, you can call it sewer covers. It's just a funny thing to pick out and be like, this is what we need to change.
Right.
I saw something. Actually, I saw something. I thought about this actually driving today. It was a construction truck. Like, you know, it had like the barrels to put on the side of the road, like a truck that was, you know, for safety, and it had one of those a plastic barrier that was maybe, you know, the length of a car that it would put down behind it and drive slowly. So if someone were to crash in the back of it, it would crash into this large piece of plastic and water. And it had it flipped up at this point because it wasn't working. It was just traveling down the highway. And on the back it had a sign, and it was a bunch. What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say it's men working, but
no. That actually, I'm glad you said that because it was a bunch of kids, and they were like little kid writing. It said, "Slow down, our dad's at work."
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I thought about that, and I was like, I'm sure a huge percentage of construction workers are men. I mean, I'm just assuming that.
And there's a proportion of them that are women as well.
Yeah, but it's just funny to see that super gendered thing, like straight up, just like our dad's at work, which is, I mean, it's an interesting.
What if it is a man driving the truck? I mean, if it were
no,
women,
no,
then she would have one that said our mom's at work.
No. The point, it wasn't the truck person. It was like a sign, a corporate sign, or just like a like public safety idea. And it was a bunch of kids.
Slow down because
it was like three kids, and then, you know, one was white, one was black, one was a girl, and then see, that's a different race. Anyway, and then it said our dad. Slow down, you know, be careful in construction sites. Our dad's at work.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, it could apply. Someone's mother could be at work on that job site.
Yeah, but exactly. So it was just an interesting, like, very gendered. I mean, a very simple message, and it's an important message because I'm sure people die all the time. So I'm not trying to pick that apart. You know, construction workers die on freeways all the time because people.
No, but it's the vernacular behind it. It's it's like manhole cover. I mean, it's not just men that go down those holes, you know.
Yeah. Well, the idea is that the only person fit for work in that situation is a man.
Right.
I assumed it was man in the general reference to.
Mankind.
Like mankind.
Yeah, but I mean that's the argument,
but
right? It's
people would also argue that it shouldn't be called mankind. It should be called something else because it's gender specific to say mankind. But
my favorite is when public officials go out of their way to not saying this is wrong, and out of their way sounds like it's a negative, but I like it when they change the gender of something. When they're talking about like a professional doctor, like instead of saying like, and if they want to become a doctor, he needs to do this. They'll be like, if your child wants to become a doctor, she needs to do this, and they'll like make sure to change the gender to a female. It's very interesting. It actually reminds me of a family friend when we would do a Passover Seder. We had this book that you would read for the Passover Seder called the Haggadah. and it was from like the 60s. It was a good one, but everything was very much focused on the man. And she would make sure that every time it hit a pronoun, that she would change it. And I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing to. I mean, and you could go down a rabbit hole with it. I mean, they just recently, I'm sure you saw, they changed and this is completely changing gears, but the Land O'Lakes butter like logo, used to feature an Indian on there.
Yeah.
And they pulled that.
I saw that.
It's just kind of things that are changing right now. And I think gender specific things, why not? Let's make a change.
Like Aunt Jemima.
Exactly.
I think she gone now, but she was a real person.
Nah, well, remember we saw that exhibit at the museum that was like all the iterations of Aunt Jemima throughout the years. There was like, she's like that character has been used by many different companies.
It's turned into a character.
Yeah, it's like legit. It came from like the Southern, antebellum, like romanticized, like this is the best, your house servant made this. Not servant, but slave probably is what obviously Aunt Jemima wasn't a slave on the syrup bottle, but
probably,
was it that obvious? I don't know.
Well, I guess I just always grew up with the Aunt Jemima syrup. I mean, have they completely just gotten rid of the syrup? Or have they rebranded?
I think the thing we saw was that it's like, there's a version of that Aunt Jemima character, which is, a classic Southern, I don't know, what house worker.
But
the Aunt Jemima, like, it was like, it's a racist stereotype of like a servant. Or, I don't know if it's not depicting it specifically
like
a slave.
Uncle Ben, I don't know.
Exactly. Uncle Ben is this exact same thing, where it's like, here's your like friendly servant who is like, you have your bandana and
he makes delicious rice. I don't know.
Exactly.
I prefer Hungry Jack anyway. So
Aunt
Jemima's too artificial flavored.
Biscuit.
Yeah, exactly.
Hungry Jack is better.
They're not paying us for any of these spots.
You can microwave it too.
Ooh.
Well, we're talking about food all of a sudden, and the next one I've got on here actually pertains to food, so it's perfect.
We haven't eaten dinner yet, and you know how I feel about that.
Well, this would be putting dessert before dinner. So.
I found out that I got 2 cavities.
For the first time in her life.
Well, 3 altogether so far in my life.
Well, yeah, explain to everybody what you just had some major dental work done.
Let's talk about Mickey's dental work.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
The dentist.
You had teeth pulled.
I did. The dentist is a dark, dark place to be, man. And I had 3 teeth pulled, and the recovery process was awful. But I had a lot of delicious milkshakes and soups.
Are you back like pain free? No, like back to 100%, or still kind of on the rebound?
Definitely not 100%. More like I want to say like 85%.
Okay.
85%, but I'm getting there.
That's good. But so now you have to turn around and go in for some cavities.
I do, because I love to eat jars of icing, and this is what happens to me.
Jars of icing.
You know what you should say? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you're so used to getting these teeth pulled. You should be like, don't just fill these cavities, just yank them teeth.
I eat too many sweets.
Tell them about it.
Your teeth really do look you have pretty teeth.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
pretty teeth.
Crest.
They shine with a shimmer of caramel and rock candy.
I don't eat caramel.
And
I don't like caramel.
And ice and Jello.
I like icing. I just like a tub of icing.
All right.
Would you bathe in a tub of icing?
It's too thick. No. You can't
You
get
could
it.
drown.
Like a warm jar of ice, or like a warm tub of icing, because then it would be kind of warm enough to kind of
Room
liquefy
temperature.
it.
Room temp?
Room temperature
No.
is good.
What about skin temp?
Skin temp.
That's like
Strange.
That's like 90 degrees.
Exactly.
That's too hot. That's milk at that point.
Have you ever?
No.
Skin temp?
What's
is
the
a weird
food comic?
thing to say.
What's happening? Dessert?
Have you ever drank water that has been out like during a very hot day that was like the same temperature as like your 98.6 degrees?
When you leave a water bottle in your hot car.
Exactly. And when you drink it, it's like the same temperature as your mouth, and so you like can't really sense it in your, like, there's a liquid there, but it's not like a fluid. It's weird. Sorry.
It's supposed to be like I guess supposedly, like if you drink ice cold, like in a glass of ice water, you burn calories while you're drinking it because your body's trying to warm the super cold liquid that you're drinking.
It will retard your digestion though, so you gotta watch out for that.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I just talked about something ice cold. When was the last time you guys had like brain freeze? You guys remember the last time you had brain freeze? It's a really weird sensation.
Yeah.
Milkshakes.
Milkshakes, yeah.
I think Slurpees always did it for me. I couldn't drink milkshakes fast enough. Slurpees, you always go in for it. Whenever because I have them so rarely. So when I go for it, it's this terrible brain freeze.
Yeah. The brain freeze thing is really interesting. I mean, do you know the actual biologics or what happens behind the brain freeze?
I don't understand the reaction, the pain reaction, but I understand like it's cooling the back of your throat.
Yeah, well, it's when you like if you take a big old sip of like a Slurpee, like you said, it causes the blood vessels to constrict really quickly, and that and then once they warm back up, they what's the opposite of constrict? They expand. Yeah, expand. So that's why it's a very quick sensation, but that's what.
But why does it hurt so much? So it's constricting the blood vessels in the back of your throat. Why do you feel it in your head?
I think it's momentarily kind of just constricting blood to a certain part of your brain.
Is that like when you step out in freezing cold and it's like a really sharp feeling on your skin?
Or when you do the ice bucket challenge?
Have you done the ice bucket challenge?
No, but I can imagine. I feel like it would be very cold.
Well, they don't do the ice bucket challenge in this one, and it's we'll move on to the next one. What do you guys think?
Yes. Okay. What if there was like a dessert ice bucket challenge where they like gave you like some kind of dessert and then they hit you with the ice and like that was part of the dessert? It was like a refreshing wintergreen mouth piece of like
wintergreen?
Well, something like minty and fresh, and then you took a bite of it, and then they doused you with ice, and that was like part of the flavor.
Special kind of person who desires a minty fresh dessert ice bucket challenge.
There we go.
They just dump like mint chocolate chip ice cream all over your head.
Exactly.
That sounds awful.
Well, in Garfield, this is our next funny paper. Garfield's by Jim Davis, and in this one, Garfield and John are inhaling ice cream.
Oh, okay. I thought you...
What kind?
It looks like it's like strawberry ice cream. It's red. It's like pink ice cream.
It's not. It's just pink. It's not Neapolitan.
No, it's just pink. It's just just pink ice cream.
It could be strawberry. I think it's probably strawberry.
It could be strawberry.
If I were a betting man, which I'm not.
That's what I'm thinking. But they're sitting there and they're just shoveling it in. And nom 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 nom. Both of them are just like throwing scoops of ice cream into their mouth.
Hold on. Explain.
Cats shouldn't eat ice cream.
That's true. They are. Right. That is too much dairy. Actually, they like dairy. They like little.
They do like ice cream.
But explain how visually they describe the extremely fast ice cream destruction.
So yeah, I mean they've got the bowl of ice cream in front of them, and there's just scoops of ice cream, like multiple scoops of ice cream in succession, flying into their open mouths, and their spoon is in motion. It's kind of blurry.
Oh, it's blurred because it's going so fast.
As they're whipping those scoops of ice cream into their mouth. They're whipping it.
Wow.
Whipping it. And so now we cut to the next frame. Their bowls are empty. And they're both sitting there with their cheeks puffed out like chipmunks and their eyes bulged. They're clearly going through
They're
worst
They're
part of.
diabetic.
They're going through
diabetic
brain.
shock.
They're going through brain freeze, I think.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Their eyes are all bulged out, and they look like they're in some sort of pain. Well, they're beginning to feel the pain, and then the next frame, they're both screaming. Their hair's standing on end, and their eyeballs have kind of shot out of their heads, kind of in a cartoon kind of way. And they're going, yeah. I think that's really where they're hitting brain freeze hard.
So that first part, they were like, "Wait, why is my throat tingling?" And
Just
then that second
realizing.
part is the pain.
Yeah. By the way, this is really well drawn. I mean, it stood out to me because it's hilarious. I'll show it to you guys afterwards, and if any listeners interested, this can be found in July 12th's newspaper, so you can find it there. It's Garfield.
Are these comic strips published in all newspapers nationally?
Yeah. I did a bit of research not too long ago that all of the illustrators that do these submit their work, and it's syndicated nationwide for whoever decides to use, like, say, Garfield in their newspaper. It's published in every like, if you were to pick up a newspaper in Los Angeles, it would be the same as here in Denver.
Los Angeles.
I used to work at a newspaper.
Did you? Really?
I was the teen editor.
What?
That's cool.
What does that mean?
newspaper?
I was the youngest person on the staff, and I was the editor of the teen section.
Which newspaper?
The Reading Eagle in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Large circulation. I was very proud of myself.
Is it still around, do you know?
Yeah, the newspaper is still around, and I think the teen section is still around as well. I worked there it was an internship. Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you cover any hard-hitting stories?
Yeah, I wrote about segregated proms in the South. I wrote about marijuana use in high school.
Sick.
I wrote about like opinion pieces about things that were going on amongst young adults. I got to make quizzes. I did a lot of the content, a lot of editing. It was really fun.
Yeah, but that's awesome. I had no
And I
idea.
got
you did
paid.
Nice.
that. Paid.
Get that cheddar.
But yeah. You do all that work without. Maybe if you're an intern, a lot of times you don't get paid.
I know.
That is slavery.
Yeah, well, it's widely accepted, especially in those types of jobs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. So John and Garfield are they're wailing in pain from their brain freeze, and now they've kind of gotten over it. They look like they feel better now, but their hair's still kind of on end. I mean, they've kind of gone through it. But in walks John's girlfriend. You know what? I don't know her name.
She blonde?
She's a dentist.
Is she the same?
she's a dentist.
Is she always the same girlfriend, or does he have different girlfriends? Because I thought
No, it's always the same. She's
Okay.
always the same.
Because he's always like in a relationship problem with her, right?
Yeah, no, she doesn't ever change. But they're kind of always going through their little.
They're on the
regular-
rocks constantly.
Do we know how
Yeah.
old John is?
I'm gonna guess
You know-
30, 35, 36.
I would even guess maybe younger than that. Honestly,
Really?
I would. I don't know.
I feel like he's like at his point in the cartoon, his reliance on his cat and dog. I don't know, just his reliance on them constantly. Is like he's really committed to that as a social.
Well, I'm a 31-year-old male, and that's kind of.
Yeah, but you have there's
I
a
could
plague
relate.
on for you. That's why you can't talk to anybody about your cat.
There's a plague.
They got that plague going.
Virtual dating.
Virtual dating.
So-
Wait, let's not call it that.
No?
If you could say VD, that's like venereal disease,
Yeah.
Oh God.
which
So
is
I
the old
can't-
term
I-
for STDs, which I think is hilarious.
I cannot find her name.
Is it
Which is-
Martha?
Whatever. I
Is
thought I
it-
had it written down here. I probably could have Googled it by now, but
Don't make me Google it. I've Googled many of things on this show, and I will Google
here it
many
is.
more.
Her name is Dr. Liz. So Liz.
Liz.
Her name's Liz or Dr. Liz. So Liz, John's girlfriend, walks in and she's looking at him kind of, I don't know, she doesn't look surprised with what they're doing, but she says, "What are you two doing now?" And John replies to Liz, looking at her with a big smile on his face. Garfield's also got a big smile on his face. And John says, "Ice cream eating races." Now Liz has got her hands on her hips. That, I guess she's struck that pose we were talking about before. Kind of that judgmental look.
These are very misogynistic cartoons.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Why are all these women such like
I don't
naggy,
know. Well,
angry?
I guess it's redeeming here because now she says, "Deal me in."
Ooh, I was gonna ask. I was gonna be a little misogynistic. I'm like, what? She doesn't want any ice cream?
Wow.
And Garfield over there with still that big smile on his face says, "Atta girl."
Nice.
So there you go. She was gonna join the ice cream race.
Here's a question for you.
Sure.
Garfield is a male, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. A male cat.
This is a weird cartoon.
Would you guys participate in an ice cream eating race? I don't know.
No, I'm gonna enjoy my ice cream. John, you eat really fast.
Listen, it's not a race, guys. But
Well,
if someone else is trying to eat your ice cream, and the only way to avoid that is by you eating it faster than they can get at it, then I'm gonna eat my ice cream faster than you can get at my ice cream, bro.
That's messed up logic.
Well, I've never seen anybody eat as fast as John here can.
Why is everyone ragging on me? Come on, guys.
You eat really fast,
no.
and then you try and eat my food.
That's right.
Not-
you didn't eat
not
fast
ragging.
enough. Why? What are you doing? You're slow. That's mine
No,
now.
but
You put your fork down.
When we lived together, I remember that we would finish doing something and you'd have half of it eaten before we even left the kitchen. It's like, whoa.
It's good when it's hot. People don't eat it when it's hot. They're like, I'm gonna wait. I'm like, what are you waiting on? Eat your food. Come
Don't
on,
you know
that's
that
good.
it's actually good for you to chew your food.
That's
For digestion.
That's bomba clot. Listen, I've been told I have a cat's tongue, and I don't really know what that means, but I'm pretty
That
sure.
doesn't make it. Yeah, what?
I've been told because
You clean yourself. And
no, I
with
think the
your tongue?
idea is that I can just eat really hot food, which I enjoy, and that's why I really like Thai food because you can't. I went to a Thai food buffet once, and it was not the same because when they bring it out fresh off the wok, it's like delicious and hot, and it's very spicy, and the heat goes with the flavor of the food. You need the temperature of the food to be the right temperature, and it like makes the flavors really. It's like hot wings. I don't want room temperature barbecue. I don't want room temperature like vinegary hot wings. I want that vinegar to be vaporizing and hitting me with like buffalo sauce as I bite into the wing. I want it to be hot at the fryer. That's what I want.
Yeah. No, I mean it's something to behold watching, especially like a sandwich. I've seen you eat a sandwich before.
That's right. Listen, there's very few pleasures in this world of ours, guys.
Yeah.
I know, and you take mine away.
Well, you didn't eat it fast enough. God. You didn't.
So I want you to keep. Oh, Miki, do you have any siblings? Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have 3 younger brothers, ages 19, 21, and 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they still live out in Pennsylvania?
2 live in Pennsylvania. The 2 younger ones are in college, and the oldest one lives in a place called Rotterdam, New York.
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of-
Rotterdam. A New Amsterdam.
Well, okay.
Rotterdam.
Well, maybe we'll come back to the sibling thing because I have more questions for you. But the very last comic I want to bring to the table today, it doesn't directly relate to siblings, but I kind of wanted to bring up that conversation after we read it. And it's Calvin and Hobbes. Have you seen read Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah, the Blondie and the Tiger.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Blondie and the Tiger.
It's probably one of the more well-known comic strips. And probably a favorite among most people.
And
Actually, never. I always skipped over it. I just never
Really?
was interested in the aesthetic of that illustration.
why? Tell us why.
I don't know. I think honestly, it's just a blonde boy. I just didn't.
Get
I
that
didn't
blonde
relate.
boy out of there.
Didn't relate.
We also talked about this on the last episode that Dustin brought up, and we did it as a test case. And this is will appeal to your law lawyering.
This will actually be the third time I've done it now. But keep going.
Well, I'll let Dustin explain it.
Oh, no, I mean, it's really not. I mean, I've told you about my cousin Max, who's an attorney. He gave us his professional opinion that
On the show?
on the show. The use of Calvin and Hobbes shouldn't be an issue.
But why were we talking about it in the first place? That's what I was trying to allude to before. The author and was he the illustrator too?
Bill
No.
Watterson, yeah.
Bill Watterson is notoriously protective of his
work.
IP.
That's BS. This is satirical commentary of
Yeah.
a piece of art. Like, it's fair use.
Dang.
I think you're right, and you know, it's reassuring hearing that.
Yeah,
Because-
I know.
It's not like I'm selling pictures of Calvin and Hobbes or anything like that.
You
We're
should, though.
We're commenting on it.
Think about how much money you'd make.
Oh, I make a ton of money.
He
So-
hasn't come after you, right?
Not yet.
He's
Not
only
yet.
sent 3 cease and desist letters, so it's like,
Yeah,
come
Does
on.
your cousin live in Colorado with you?
he does. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Dustin legally hired him as a lawyer, and he legally gave him
represent-
his legal advice.
Uh-huh.
No, we're trying to put him in a box.
Max would. He's got a sense of humor. He knows.
He gets it. But guess who doesn't have a sense of humor? The
Bill
Colorado
Larson.
Bar.
Oh. All right. Well, let's start with this. Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes. My probably the favorite that goes back the furthest. And Calvin and Hobbes is by the infamous Bill Watterson.
Dun, 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 dun.
And as is kind of usual in the very first frame, the title frame that has the title Calvin and Hobbes, there's kind of a separate picture, and in this one, Calvin's kneeling on the ground underneath the spigot outside, and he's tying a water balloon up.
I'm sorry.
filling-
Calvin is the man or the animal?
He's
Calvin
not
is
a
the little
ma-
boy,
Okay,
Little
Calvin's
boy.
the boy. Okay.
probably 6 to 8 years old, maybe. So yeah, he's sitting outside. He's just finished tying up a water balloon. He's just filled with water. And now he's walking off across the yard. He's got this big blue water balloon kind of held out in front of him as he's walking. And he says, "I'd sure like to shake the hand of the genius who invented these," referring to the water balloon. And now he's met up with Hobbes the tiger. Now, Hobbes is that fluffy friend of his who stands kind of twice his height.
Yeah, it's freaky.
But only in his imagination.
Right. In reality, Hobbes is just a stuffed tiger.
Or is he? Or is that
Or is
the
he?
adult's imagination? Or can he transmorph?
Wow. There's a whole series on Calvin where they have the transmorgifier, which is a cardboard box that they jump in and maybe I'll read that one at some point. Well, he's met with Hobbes out in the yard, and he's actually handed Hobbes the water balloon, and Calvin's pointing off across the yard as he says to Hobbes, "Okay, here's the game. We toss the water balloon back and forth, but each time we catch it, we take a step back.
Classic.
The idea is to see how far apart we can get before one of us gets soaked." And Hobbes says, "Oh, okay, gotcha." All right, so now they're about like a foot and a half apart. And Hobbs tosses the water balloon to Calvin with his outreached hands, and Calvin says, "Okay, toss it. Toss it to me." And Calvin catches it. And now he tells Hobbs, "There, I caught it. Now we take a step back and I'll toss it to you." So now they're kind of backpedaling, they're walking backwards. And as Hobbs is kind of looking behind him as he's walking backwards, Calvin ups and just hucks the water balloon right at him. "Ha ha, catch this, sucker!" Sploosh. And the water balloon explodes all over Hobbs, kind of sending him backwards on his back. You got him good on that one. So, Hobbs has stood up and he's just soaking wet with water. And Calvin's on his back, just cracking up. "Ha ha ha, what a chump. What a naif. Ha ha ha." So, Calvin got the best of Hobbs, I guess, but Hobbs is going to exact his revenge. He's picked Calvin up, and he's cradling him like a football, kind of storming off across the yard, holding Calvin in his arms. Calvin says, "Hey, what's the matter? Can't you take a joke? It was a joke. I mean, it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose." And Hobbs, carrying Calvin over, has reached a barrel full of water, and he's holding Calvin by the ankles, upside down, about to dip him into this barrel of water.
He's gonna kill him.
And Calvin, still screaming out, "Hey, no, not the rain barrel." And now we cut. Hobbs has clearly dunked Calvin into the rain barrel, and he's left. And Calvin is kind of leaning over the edge of the rain barrel, soaking wet. And Calvin says, "It's no fun to play games with a poor sport." That's Calvin and Hobbs for you.
Wow.
What do you guys think?
If I remember correctly, Hobbs is usually the one who wins the matches.
He does. Well, and that's why I kind of prefaced with siblings, because when I read this, I kind of think of, I always kind of thought of, because Calvin is an only child, and I think that's why Hobbs is kind of, I think he kind of portrays Hobbs as Tough Tiger as maybe an older brother or a sibling, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about older. I know, John, you have an older sibling, and Miki, I guess you're the eldest, huh?
I am the matriarch of the siblings.
And I relate there because I'm the oldest. But John, you fall right in the middle.
Yes, I'm the forgotten middle child. I have two older siblings. One's a firstborn male, ka-ching, and then the other one's the firstborn female, and then me, and then the baby, who is a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we were talking the other day about super soakers.
Invented by a black man.
It's true.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's
he was
awesome.
black.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, but the super soaker, I just remember your brother, because he was kind of, I mean, we were close as kids too, and I didn't have an older brother, so whenever I'd go over there, Zach, your older brother, was kind of that way to me as well. But I remember he had like the most badass super soaker, and
yeah, he would exclusively use it on me. I remember.
Yeah. You didn't have one?
Not a good one. I mean, I probably had a hand-me-down he didn't want to use anymore. He's like, "Okay, John, you can use this one that I know
you can get
won't
the
be
old
a threat."
Cracked one that doesn't work.
This won't be a threat against my backpack giant super soaker. Here's a little squirt gun for you.
Which back then it seemed like it was like a fire hose, but in reality it was probably not that exciting.
My move would be I would sneak back, because you got your refill station by the hose, And so I would just lure him in like I was gonna go refill, and so we'd move in for the kill. But boom, I'd have the hose on him.
Yeah.
Tactical. That's smart. Okay.
Well, did you
right.
guys ever really have? I think maybe once I had a good water balloon fight, but the water balloon fights were hard because you would just exhaust the water balloons so quickly.
The hardest part of water balloons is creating the ammunition. It takes many hours to fill up water balloons and have them ready. Also, to do them the right size, because if they're too small, they bounce off, and it's not a fun game.
No.
And if they're too big, they explode, and you can't really throw them.
But have you ever thought about the environmental impact? I mean, after a water balloon fight, you've just littered your yard with like rubber.
We would always make it a game. We call it "Pick Up Every Piece of Plastic." We sing a song. It would be like, "Pick up every piece of plastic."
I don't know. That wasn't part of my childhood pastime. So
You never had a water balloon fight?
I mean, maybe at camp, but I don't know.
What camp?
I went to camp every summer.
Camp water balloon?
No, like the children variety theater art type camps.
They didn't do water balloons.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Okay,
they
so
did.
They did cabarets.
You were the oldest. Or do you think you were cruel to your younger siblings, or?
No, I'm an
All right.
angel towards them.
Well, let me pose it this way: if you were your younger sister,
My younger sister?
No, Mickey. Like, say I were interviewing your younger sister,
Your younger brother?
I guess you have a younger brother and sister, right? That's what you said.
Oh no, just 3 younger brothers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Younger
no
brother.
sisters. None.
I'm
I
sorry.
wish.
My
I have a younger
apologies.
sister.
My apologies. But okay, so if I were interviewing your younger brothers, and I were to ask, all right, how was Mickey was she a bully? What do you think? How do you think they would reply?
I think they might say that I beat them up, and that I don't know. They'd probably try and lie and say that they won the fights, but no, that
Wait,
never happened.
what?
We would fight till the death, bloody noses and everything.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to show them who's boss. I was
you
the
just
only
beat up
girl.
You just beat up your brothers?
I mean, we got into arguments.
And you ended them physically?
I don't know. One time we were fighting by the pool, so one of them fell in.
Fell?
Fighting by
Yes.
the pool.
They fell?
Yes.
You sure?
I shoved him into the pool.
I heard it.
Oh. Did he have a cell phone in his pocket? Because that would be
No, it was long enough ago that I don't.
before that.
Yeah.
Remember those days when you can just fall into pools and not be like, that was $1,000. You just
Yeah.
work.
Uh-huh.
People just falling into people pushing each other into pools for jokes. People having a grand old time in life, and now we're all like, well, let me hold on. I got these are my really nice pants, and I got a nice phone in here. I'm not gonna put in rice right after. That's ridiculous. I got rice.
Oh yeah, bag of rice.
Wait,
that was
you're an
yeah.
only child?
No. I have a younger brother, Logan, who's in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
Was he on
that's as funny. I mean, I don't think I never really picked on Logan. I mean, I was the older brother and had times where I put him down, but it's funny now. If I wouldn't even try to cross him because he easily weighs 60 pounds more than me and is just jacked.
What about me?
When are you gonna bring Logan on the show?
I would love to sometime soon. He's busy. Actually, he's on his way to Idaho tomorrow for some sort of assignment in Idaho, and then he's going to Utah.
I just saw a advertisement for Idaho for like their
Potatoes?
no for just
Highways?
no, it was
For
for
recreation.
Potato sacks?
like recreation, yeah, like tourism.
Oh, it's a great recreational state. It
Really?
really is.
What do you do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really, I'm kind of, it kind of hurts me to hear that they're starting to advertise because it's kind of a well-kept secret. At least I thought it was.
They were like, come on, you Southern Californians, you LA,
Well,
come out here and destroy
yeah.
our wildlife.
I know.
They're
Well,
like,
that's sad
pollute,
because
throw your canned beers in
Are they
our-"
suffering economically and they need to
Everybody
rebuild
is.
their population? I mean, I know, but that's like a
Certainly
really
tourism.
deserted area, right?
I'm not sure about their economy. I mean, I'm sure it is. I don't know. I'm sure it could use a little boost. especially now. But the problem with Idaho is its politics. It's an extremely red state, despite, that
There's
could
a lot
switch.
There's a lot of neo-Nazis there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anti-government. But that being said, there's a lot of neo-Nazis in Southern California, and this is one of the liberal bastions of the country, so
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
And California's a big blue state, but
Exactly.
you find those types of people everywhere, which is
You got to
unfortunate.
root them out.
Yeah. Wow. Idaho. So you guys have never been to Idaho?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
See-
I haven't actively avoided it, but
Where is it?
I passively avoided it.
It's
Up
it's
there.
just east of like Washington State and Oregon. It actually the northernmost point of Idaho actually is a border with Canada.
It tickles Canada.
It does. Tickles Canada. No, I mean I have thought if like Colorado's turning into one of those it's just the population out here is going crazy, and I've kind of entertained the idea like I can go to Idaho, because Idaho is a lot like Colorado in that it's got mountains, it's got great skiing. It's a recreation state, but Colorado's kind of the word's out on Colorado. Everyone knows about it.
300 days of sunshine.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, in Idaho's kind of the same way. A lot of sunshine. But anyway, maybe I'm helping to spread that word.
Yeah, once this show gets out, everyone's gonna be like, I'm gonna move to Denver, Colorado.
Idaho.
Idaho.
To Idaho.
Uh-huh.
Idaho.
Idaho.
Oh, someone was gonna say it. Oh,
Yeah.
bing, 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 bing,
Uh-huh.
bing, 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 bing. You get
All right,
one
guys.
free potato.
Well, guys, I think we wrap it up here. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank
I hope you guys want to do it again soon.
Sure do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. This was fun. I'm down anytime.
All right, cool.
Down like a clown.
Down like
Or
a
like
what?
a frown.
Down like an upside down smile.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm going to remind you to tell all your friends and family about the show. It's really the only way that the word is spread on this show.
Can I?
I'll mention it. Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
can I advertise on Instagram?
of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, actually, if you're listening, I don't know, hashtag Funny Papers Show. It's, I think that's how it would link to us. Oh, another announcement, I guess. We're working on getting a YouTube channel put together with an archive of all the shows available on YouTube. So keep your eyes open for that. Hopefully that'll help kind of boost listenership. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming in. And until next time, it's your old buddy Dustin, and I'll see you in the Funny Papers.